NK music on the track.
Nailed that one. Yeah.
2, 3. That was perfect.
All right, yeah.
I had another guy named Johnny for my first episode. People who are watching, you guys saw him, but it took us like 5 times to sync up.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like I have like that. Like I could focus pretty well, but when it comes down to like doing complex movements or movements that my mind thinks are complex,
Yeah,
it takes me a while.
you. So, welcome to the heart of the world.
That's hard.
everybody-
That's hard.
Everybody, this is my friend Malachi. He is just here on campus with me in this university and this universe. So, I'm your host, Kevin McLean, bringing in people, talking about what makes the heart of the world, talking about what makes people. You know, why are we here? What makes this city different from Atlanta? What makes this city different from Manhattan? You know.
We can really talk about that.
Yeah.
Shit.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
I do.
So every podcast, every single type of interview, they always want to be interviewing the up-and-coming talent. They always want to be talking about somebody famous. They always want to be really focusing on what's happening right now. But have you ever thought about, what about the rest of the community? What about the person right next to me? What about my best friends? Let's really dig into their mind and see what makes them tick. Who are they as a human being? What's their vision for the world?
What's the word?
Yeah. If they had it, because one day, either you or me is going to be like really out there. And they'll have, the entire world's going to have this document to listen to you, your thoughts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you matter.
You matter.
Yes.
So, I mean, okay, in the last podcast, like, what did you guys talk about?
We had no clue.
No clue.
Somehow it went from random stuff, from like food and social life. I think we talked a little bit about values. I'd have to go over the footage. But then towards the end, we started talking a lot about like sexuality and Kanye being a representation of black people.
I'm not even gonna hold you. Our conversations definitely shift like that. Like,
Yeah.
like, yo, between, cause you remember like how I met you.
Yep.
So a little context. How do I even explain that?
Slow down there. I don't even know that.
I don't need to know. You got it. I don't need to know that.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a very unhinged, just normal conversation, though. Maybe I'll talk about it in a future episode. Yeah. Or if it just comes up naturally in the conversation, I'll be like, well, guess that file's on the internet now.
No.
Although if you're Nardwar and you know how to research freaking comment sections from 5 years ago, then you could find out all the information you want to know about me. So, yep.
Nah, I wouldn't have done it like that. I know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I promise you I wouldn't. But, moving on.
Yes.
Yes, moving on.
Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about was The Iceman.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
I watched it, but I didn't watch it all the way through, most definitely.
That's okay.
Yeah. But I felt like...
For context, everybody, I'm talking about Frank Ocean and Wim Hof, aka The Iceman, did their own interview on Blonde Radio. Not a lot of people would know about it. It's got like 89,000 views, which is not a lot for Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
You know, typically it's in the millions. So
Frank is a goat.
yeah. And they were just talking a whole lot about this dude who goes into ice and challenges himself and overcomes grief and things like that. So, and what it means to be alive, what it means to think, power of the mind and stuff. So, now that you guys are caught up on the context of what we're about to talk about, Malachi, what were some things that stood out to you?
Overall, I liked how the music blended into everything. I liked how the conversation wasn't necessarily like bound by anything. I felt like even though I don't really know like how it started off, like I was watching it, I was going through it, but I couldn't really tell what he was talking about in the beginning because
You're out of the loop.
And I was trying to get in the loop. So when I finally got in the loop, it basically seemed like they were just talking about like a variety of things. Like I loved how the conversation went from one thing over to another, and I feel like that's what a conversation's about. I feel like it's not necessarily an interview. It should be more so like a conversation. Like, yeah, I liked it. Whose interview was it? It was Frank Ocean interviewing Iceman, right?
Yeah.
Frank is a genius. Did he come up with that whole setup?
I think he did.
Like the music, no visuals. You just had to sit there and listen.
Yeah, he probably came up with that. Because, I mean, he's the musician, and Wim Hof, Iceman, he's the guy who goes and climbs mountains. So I don't think he's playing piano too much.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was gonna ask you, like, you give me some context on Wim, because I didn't know who that was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what's crazy, though?
What was crazy?
I also didn't know who he was before I listened to this interview.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I found this maybe a month or two ago. No, I found this way longer than that ago, like, when it came out. And so it's this dude who lost his wife to a suicide in, like, 1995 or 85, I believe. And he was just so distraught about it. He was like, dude, I got kids to take care of. I got a wife who just died. I'm not making tons of money. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sad. I need to get back in the game. Mm-hmm. And he just jumped into ice. like,
what do you mean just jumped into ice?
Literally. He literally just went and, like, took an ice bath, and he was describing his experience in that. And it was like, because his body was so cold, he learned from just reacting to it that the only way to survive is to stop thinking and to lower your heart rate and to just exist. Truly become one with the ice is the only way to survive the ice. And it was a magical experience he was describing, because he was like, yo, I'm no longer thinking about all the depressing things in my world, and I'm free from it. And it allows me to grow. It resets my palate. So now I can think about it differently.
He was no longer bound by certain things.
Yeah. And so the amazing part of it is when he came out of the ice, he was like, yo, I gotta live for two. And he could feel the energy of his ex-wife. And when a wife dies, do you call him your ex-wife, or is it just your deceased wife?
You know how wives can be widows, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a male widow. Yeah, I feel like that's accurate.
They're still married, though.
Yeah, no, of course. Yo, that's so crazy, though. Well, damn. So, what happens when you go off and, like, you go date?
What do you mean, date?
Like, after your wife passes, and you, like, say, oh, I want to go date somebody, or I want to get back out there.
Oh, yeah. He actually did remarry.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's with a younger girl right now, I believe. And
How
they
old
didn't
is he?
discuss. He's like, I don't know, 50. But
I mean, if she passed in, like, the 1990s or 80s, then yeah, he's up there in age.
I think she's, like, her late 20s or early 30s or something.
That's dope.
So,
they got any kids, or?
Yes, I think one of his children are from her, and the other three are, like, from his original wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but their thing is, like, they just connected because he was a physical trainer. I think he still is a physical trainer, and she was one of his students, and they just connected, and they were like, you know what? It's love. It's whatever. And the way the dude talks on the interview, he sounds like a very mature, well thought out man who knows how to handle his life. And I mean, if I lost my wife and somebody younger was like just, like if they had enough mental maturity and they're like in their late 20s or something, I was like, okay, I'm too old for all this. Let's just do whatever comes. Okay.
I mean, I always tell everybody that I encounter, like, you only live one life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why not? That doesn't mean go out and, like, do wicked shit.
Yeah,
like,
don't
like,
be too
fuck children.
frivolous
Like,
with it.
but yeah. Because certain people are sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. Overall, like, I feel like he was wise. I feel like he definitely had some great things to say. It's just a matter of, I don't know. My thing is, I wish I had more time to dive into certain stuff like that. But
Yeah.
if I'm being honest with you, bro, lately, I just haven't had that time. Like, I'm always back and forth between school, track, and a variety of other things. But I wish that I could sit down and, like, I could just write the way that I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting out poetry.
Yeah. That's why, like, whenever you call me up, or, like, not call, but whenever you text me or something like that and I'm coming out, I'm like, it definitely makes me feel closer to who I really am, because I don't get a chance to do the things that I truly love anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, I love track, but I don't get a chance to, like, do
Be
the
the original you.
yes.
The one who started track.
or like express myself in a manner that I actually enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. You know what's really cool about that experience you're telling me?
What?
I have a friend named Dave, and he makes beats. And he told me that he was actually about to quit making beats, and he hasn't touched them since the beginning of the year. And then we were sitting here, we were sitting in that same chair, just vibing, kind of writing some lyrics, listening to his music, listening to beats on YouTube. And he was like, dude, I'm so glad that you brought me here and we're doing this, because I never would have done it. And I was feeling that connection.
Bro.
And I'm like, I'm so happy to hear those kind of things, because I love it when we really take time to just connect with our artistic, creative, introspective selves and take time to really exist. And I mean, that's what existence is to me, though. I mean, what is existence to you? What does it mean to be alive?
Man, it's actually kind of funny, because I kind of talk about this, like, in bits and pieces whenever, like, I'm sad or I'm going through something. But my definition of being alive is just, like, feeling and experiencing everything. Like, I could be going through depression, or I could be, like, really sad or really angry. Well, that is the definition of depression. But I could be
complicated. But yeah,
I could be, like, experiencing those emotions, but I have to, like, kind of pull myself back and say, yo, I'm so happy that I'm so sad, because if I were dead, I wouldn't be able to feel those emotions. I wouldn't be able to feel anything at that. So I think the fact that I'm, like, here and able to, like, feel these things and have this conversation and be in this tank top or be famous, this, you know, like, I'm just happy. Like, I feel like that's what it means to be alive, just feeling and experiencing.
dude, that is a perfect description of one of many perspectives that I also share.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, dude, when I overcame depression, I struggled with depression for so long, so many years, like 8 years, right?
Damn.
That's how long I was dealing with it. And I look back on my life now, and it was in 2020 when I first really say I overcame it. And I look back on those 8 years and I'm like, holy freaking crap. I was not alive. Like, I was talking with friends and I was doing silly stuff, just having fun, but I wasn't there. I wasn't really in the moment. I was sad, but I wasn't there. I wasn't really in the moment, you know? And I have all these memories, but it doesn't feel like I was really present for them. But then when I overcame it, when I finally realized what it meant to be stable in a moment of balance where I can experience both the good and bad without having a complete mental breakdown, it was like, whoa, I love being happy. Like, dude, I would wake up, right? It would be a sunny day. I might go pour me a cup of lemonade. I'm like, dang, this lemonade tastes nice. I'm happy. Oh my God, I'm happy. Now I'm happier. Gosh dang. And it just keeps infinitely going on top of each other. And I would get like so euphoric throughout the day. And that happened. There was like a whole honeymoon period for me that just happened for months.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I kept trying to hold back on telling everybody about it because I didn't want to be super pushy and be annoying. And then at the same time, whenever I felt sad, like you were describing, I was like, dang, I'm sad. But I don't want to kill myself. Like, this is nice. I mean, I still feel sad, but just give me like 5 minutes. I'm going to look back on this and be like, bro, that was awesome because like I was able to cry or something and really process things and still want to be alive and be like, dude, I'm just so grateful to have that experience.
Yes, bro.
Life is there, man.
Like, bro, I feel like, you know, of course, everybody faces adversity, but it's like, I'll go through some dumb shit, like I'll get hurt or something like that, and, bro, matter of fact, I remember one time, I was doing like 50 miles per hour on a road bike. I was coming down a really steep hill, and I was like, the road was unpaved, and I'm riding on a road bike, so you know, like they have really skinny tires, they're race tires.
Oh yeah.
Yup. So I'm coming down, the road is unpaved, so I'm kind of like skidding everywhere, and then I'm trying to beat the light. Always on some speed demon shit, always on some daredevil shit, but I'm really trying to beat this light. So what separates me and the light is this ditch.
Oh no.
Yeah, bro.
I know where this is going. How many bones did you break?
Thank God I ain't break any. Thank God I ain't break any. But yo, the experience is so crazy, bro. As I was coming down that hill and I see the little ditch that I'm trying to avoid.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, and clap again. Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, bro. I'm coming down. You know, I'm about to hit this ditch, but it's like, it's about 3 seconds before, and I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, do I slow down or do I hill bomb this bitch? Like, do I like try and avoid it? Maybe the bike could go over the ditch. I won't go in. Mind you, I took physics around that time. I should have known.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. I went straight into the ditch. Yo. Bro. I thought I was gonna like I thought it was gonna go over. It didn't, bro. The front tire slammed into it. It's like the whole bike stopped and flipped. And then all I can recall, like whenever I think about it, I could just see me and the bike flying through the air and twisting and turning. And then when we finally hit the ground together, like me and the bike were going through the same experience together. When we were finally hitting the ground, I just watched the wheel and the handlebar get bent up, and I'm like, fuck. But I take you all around the world to say, if I was dead, I wouldn't be able to experience that. Because, don't get it fucked up, like a couple of seconds before, I was happy. I was moving so fast, and that's one of the things that I love doing. I love moving so fast. So the fact that I was able to experience that before I had that very traumatic experience, you know, slamming into the pavement, that made me happy. And I could think about it, I could relive it, and I could relive what happened before, you know? Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
What?
If I experienced that, I'd probably be thinking about how I crashed, and I was like, you know what, let me not do that again. No more hill bombing.
Yo. I mean, I was definitely scared to touch that hill. I was scared of any hill for a month. But I came back, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do the same thing and wish for the best. And I hill bombed it successfully.
Nice.
Yup.
That's what I like to hear.
But I was alive to do it.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Be happy. Nah.
Don't be happy. Be balanced and ready for all emotions. And appreciate all those emotions. Yeah. There's this cool concept in Buddhism called Dharma that it encapsulates the idea that happiness and sadness and anger and literally every range of the human emotional spectrum, it's all code for bad vibes, including the happiness. because everything leads to suffering. You get happy, you want more happiness, and then wanting more means suffering because now you're greedy and now you are without more. So
that was a crazy ass clickbait, bro. But go on. I like where you're going with this.
yeah. What do you mean clickbait?
Like I you know, as you were explaining this, in my head I'm thinking, yo, I might apply this. Like, you know, I thought you were gonna say that maybe happiness is being happy, sad, and angry, and then having like an appreciation, or having like, I thought you were gonna say that.
I just realized that dharma is the exact opposite of what we're talking about, because we're talking about appreciating all aspects of the human emotion, and then dharma is like all aspects of the human emotion are bad. But
fuck
yeah. But that's really cool. That's like, that could be a whole new school of thought.
Yeah.
Let's go be out here, next level Aristotle. Kanye, yeah, you go be the new Mozart. But I'm Aristotle. That's my boy Plato, or
like
whoever came after Plato. I mean, no, whoever came after Aristotle, because you know I want to be bigger. I'm bigger.
I knew you was gonna do it, bro. I knew you was gonna do it.
Yeah.
But nah. Wow. I'm not gonna lie to you. You just like open my mind up. I feel like there's another ridge there. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Wrinkles in your brain.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, bro. Actually, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So I kind of want to go back to the beginning.
Okay.
So in the beginning, you were talking about how initially everybody wants to talk about how, like, they want to talk about this new school. They want to talk about everything that's going on in the media and what's going on, like right now with certain artists. But what do you want to talk about? Like, what are you interested in?
You're living in it.
Yeah.
This moment right here, talking about people's perspectives on what it means to be real, what it means to be alive, how much we can feel in this universe, how far can we expand our consciousness, how do we connect more with our community. I want to, in future episodes of this, I want to talk about community service. I want to talk about mental health. I want to talk about sexuality. I want to talk about coming out, staying in. I want to talk about expressing the body through the natural self, with or without clothes on, public nudity, nudism. Dude, I want to go everywhere I can go, and I want to go. I want to go where people don't talk about too much. You know.
I know.
But I mean, but I also want to incorporate that normal factor of what you see in mainstream interviews. But I don't want to do it for mainstream people, and that's where the title "The Heart of the World" comes from. Because have you ever heard somebody say "the real sound of Atlanta"? You ever heard that?
I probably.
I'm so glad that's very iconic. Yeah, but or you can like, ooh, you know what? 90s hip hop. I remember people talk about 90s hip hop, like you can tell this beat is from Brooklyn and this beat that's from Queens, you know, like you can tell the vibe, you can tell the soul is from this place and that place, or you know when you're hearing a beat that's made from Compton.
Yo, bro, that's so true. Like you could tell, like, yo, it's so crazy. I was in the what do you call that thing? Oh, the dining hall. I was in the dining hall like 2 days ago. I was eating a chicken wrap. You remember that time we had a chicken wrap?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I was eating the same thing. So I was in there, I was eating the chicken wrap, and I was listening, and I was watching a video about Memphis, Tennessee. Briefly,
like the home place of jazz or something?
Nah, I think that's Louisiana.
Probably.
But for Tennessee, like Tennessee is home to like a different type of rap. Like it's a different type of hip hop. And I felt like what you just spoke about, that reminded me of that, because they were basically talking about how like the music from there is so different, but because it's so different, it's like the world kind of shuns it. Like the world doesn't like it. Some people even went like as far to say that it's satanic, or you know, like they're summoning the devil in their music, you know. And
I think everything goes through a phase like that.
Yeah.
Except for Lil Nas X, he was literally summoning the devil. Call me by your name, bro. Like, That's the facts. He did it intentionally. I respect that he did it intentionally, though, when it's not like people just messing things up. They were messing things up about all this older music. Like, he wasn't summoning the devil. He was just being himself in his older music. But then he made... no, it's not Call Me By Your Name. What the heck? That's That's the Dope Romance one. I'm thinking about Montero, like the title track.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's in my head.
Yeah.
I just... Like where it was very controversial and they were... I know what you're talking about, yeah. And the shoes were associated with it? You remember that? Yeah.
Dude, those shoes made me kind of uncomfortable.
Why?
Because it's one thing to unapologetically be yourself and reject everybody else's ideas. It's another thing to literally follow practices that are like worshiping this entity so commonly associated with evil and then put people's blood in shoes. At least it was consensual though, but it does make me a bit uncomfortable. So, but I mean, that's what he's going for. And watches my name gets out there, Lil Nas X watches his, and he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm so glad you got uncomfortable, bro. And I'll be like, dude, I respect your craft. You don't need to make me uncomfortable.
Nah, bro, but honestly, I can understand like why it made you uncomfortable because I'm thinking back to like that little phase.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have much to say about it, but I could I was on the toilet when all this was going down, bro. Like I was literally taking a shit. I was watching the video. All I could think was like, yo, what the fuck? You know, so I was like, Mom, come here. And then, you know, my mom came and she was sitting there and she was like, oh my God, you see the same thing, right? And I was like, yeah, like what the fuck is this? And she's like, I don't know, man. This is the state of the world, man.
I mean, I think there's freedom and then there's just why. You know?
This is definitely a why thing. What else is a why thing in society?
Why do we hate all conservative ideas? And why do we think that liberalism means free thought?
Yo, I need you to educate me real quick because it's like there's those two terms, but I always get them mixed up. So could you just define them real quick?
So think conserve. You're conserving. You're keeping things.
Okay.
Right? So they're the people who are trying to keep with tradition. And then there's liberate, freedom. They're trying to move forward and think progressively.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's more common sense. Like, it's more of a common sense thing. I feel real shitty.
That's okay. I think I got it mixed up at some point, too. But then I just got so involved in the conversation, it became second nature.
Honestly, I never knew what they meant. It's like I always wanted to join those conversations and express my own views. I'm like, oh, shit, yo, which side do I go on? I don't know what any of those words mean. And, well, I know what they mean, but I didn't know what they meant in society, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so my perspective on it is, like, why? The main question, why? That's what you asked. What's a why thing? Why is there so much division between those two people, the two ideas? Like, I feel like there's just no admiration for the other. You know, at least mainstream. Maybe that's just what the media is putting out, but I feel like nobody's saying, oh, you know what? You're a Christian and you don't like me because I'm gay. But that's because your Bible says it and that's your religion. And you know what? I'm going to respect your religion and I'm going to say, I'm going to do me, but you can do you. Because at the end of the day, in the grandest scheme of all things, we don't know who's right. Because what if everybody who's being gay is right? And the people who are like, God hates them is wrong. And then what if the people who are like, you know what? What if God hates them? You don't know that. True. We don't know that. No matter what side of the coin we're on. We're still a coin and a giant bank. So
that's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like I also really don't entertain ideas like that. Because I feel like you said, like, there is no real right or wrong. There's a lot of, like, there's wrong ideas within, like, liberalism, and then there's wrong ideas with conservative people. Like, for instance, right, let's say, so most conservatives are Christian, right? Or, like, they're for a religious background.
Yeah, they are religious.
Okay. So if we're talking about Christians, right, isn't it safe to say that the Bible, like, right now, it's not all that accurate?
Yeah, like there have been manipulations, and there are tons of reasons to believe there are other manipulations in it.
That's what I'm saying. So if that's the case, it's like that right there is already one reason why you guys would be wrong in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we jump over to the liberalism side, so liberals would be like people who advocate for the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we're talking about them, we can sit here and say, well, why is cancer culture so prominent? Or why is it that you're trying to like, you know,
like why are you trying to ruin somebody's life for thinking differently and making mistakes?
Gosh,
you know,
man. Like what I don't like, bro, is how if I say something wrong, you're immediately going to try and cancel me. But why not try and educate me? Like, I know you may not know that I'm an open-minded person, but I feel like if you're so passionate about this topic, then you should take time to direct that passion at me the right way and try and educate me. Like, why not? You know, I got the time.
I think a lot of people, and this is a complete swing in the dark, but maybe we're all just like afraid that everybody's going to openly reject our ideas. So it's more easy to just force them into submission by giving them punishment. You know, like...
That's good. That's good.
Like, what if you like oranges? And I hate oranges. But I'm afraid that you're going to hear my opinion on why oranges suck. And you're going to be like, you know what? I still like oranges. And then you won't conform to me. And I'm going to be like, dang it, we lost another one. Or I could be like... No, shut up, bro. Oranges are the best, and I'm gonna kill you if you don't eat my orange. If you start eating, well,
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I just messed up the consistency of my story. I was saying I was the guy who hates
You got
oranges.
it. As long as I understand, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but do the people understand? They can rewatch the interview.
They're
They'll
smart.
get it.
They get it.
Yeah.
Alright, bro. I feel like, why can't it just be like, why are you trying to force me to switch sides, bro? Why do you care which side I believe in? Like, okay, you may feel this way, but at the end of the day, I don't have to follow or believe what you believe. It's a free, like, it's a world. I can do almost anything I want.
Yeah.
So just let me.
Exactly.
But then if you kind of switch that over, that can kind of be used against you. Because, like, let's say you're talking about some sick shit, like, oh
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the limits go, and I don't think that's bound to liberal or conservative ideas. Like, my baseline policy that I always apply to every possible thought I could instill in anybody is do whatever you want as long as it's not hurting you and it's not hurting others. Because if it's not hurting you and not hurting anybody else, what harm could it be doing to the world?
The children, too. Protect the children.
That's avoiding harming others. Children are others, man.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And I feel like, to a degree, that includes, you know, plant life, animal life.
I thought you were going to say old people. I wasn't going to laugh at you.
It includes all people, bro, not ages.
I know. I wanted to hear you say it so bad.
Yeah.
But no, plants, okay, yeah.
Gosh, dang. I'm just glad it's not our building this time.
Yo, imagine.
Dude, I didn't even have to say it that time.
We got it. We got it. But yeah, so it's good?
Yeah, we're good. Let's keep going.
Alright. So yeah, where were we?
We were talking about, you know, the baseline for freedom, which is don't hurt yourself, don't hurt others. Which brings me back to this whole liberals versus conservatives.
Alright.
I once read an article about this woman who was like, I can do whatever I want with my body. I'm like, yes you can, more power to you. But she was literally like just cutting herself up and tearing off pieces of her body and mailing it to her ex-boyfriends, and it was gross, dude. I was like, that's definitely hurting yourself, bro. I don't care if they're surgically removing a huge chunk of your arm. That's taking off a natural part of you, bro. There's so many amputees in the world who are probably just angry at you. Like, dude, you have this amazing body that was given to you by a higher power that I personally call God. You're free to choose whatever you want, but it's like, and you're out here tearing it up and mailing it to people who you don't like. What? And it's like, dude.
Nah, just imagine being
it's
that
too
ex.
much. Bro, if that happened to me, I'd get a restraining order so fast. Like, I would just open my mailbox and see it, cut it open Amazon, and just see a chunk of skin. I'd look at where it came from. Oh, yeah. Charlie from West Point. Yeah, okay. I go over to the thing, hop in my Fiat. Yeah, you know, fancy cars. And I'll be like, excuse me, Judge. Yes. This lady right here, I don't ever want to hear another word from her again. Can you make that happen legally? Cool. And then I'd leave and go home and not think about it for the rest of my life. Suppress that. Put it low.
Honestly, I wouldn't be concerned about it. I would just, like, shit like that, like, I just laugh at.
Yeah.
I laugh because you took the time and the money to slice off a piece of yourself that was needed.
Yeah.
And then you mailed it to me. Do you know how much money that is within itself before you even mail it? You just wasted all that money. And there's nothing I'm going to do with it. I'm just going to throw it in the trash. Do you want me to mail it back?
Probably have to find a proper way to dispose of it.
I mean...
Or you could just throw it at the bottom of a lake.
Not really. You could just throw it away. Because, like, don't they compare, like pig skin to, like, human skin? Isn't that like I think that's a thing. Like
I wouldn't count on that though, because I know pigs do process the foods they eat a whole lot differently.
True. You're right about that.
That's why they say don't eat pigs. I think the main reason we don't eat humans is because of ethical reasons. Like, I'm not trying to eat you, bro. Pause. Gotta throw in the pause.
It's so crazy, bro. I've been watching Dahmer lately. And nah, that's fucking crazy.
You been watching who?
Dahmer.
Dahmer? Mm-hmm. Jeffrey Dahmer?
Mm-hmm. Like the new series?
Isn't that a guy who, like, killed a bunch of people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Really? Do you want me to, like, tell you real quick?
Go ahead.
Alright, so... It's actually crazy because while I'm watching the series, I'm on the internet looking up stuff and it's like I'm researching. It's so crazy because I actually have like something I want to add on after that. But Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer who he killed killed 17 people. He cut them up. He ate them. He had sex with their corpses. And what else did he do? He's fucking sick, bro. He hid their corpses like well within his apartment. He had somebody's head in his fridge. He had like a vat of acid in his room, like dissolving their body parts and shit. And he kept somebody's dick. Yeah, he kept somebody's dick. They said he used it as a sex toy, and I didn't understand.
I was just considering like the ethical implications of whether or not I should make a joke about it being used as a sex toy. Yeah. And then you told me you used it as a sex toy.
You thought about it before you.
I'm just so glad I didn't make that joke. Because hearing it out loud, it definitely makes me feel uncomfortable.
But yeah, bro. So he did a variety of other like bad things, but he's just a famous serial killer. And what I actually wanted to add on to that was... So, I'm kind of confused in regards to... So, there was a Dahmer movie made in the 90s, like probably a couple years after he passed. I think it was 1997. He died in 1994. Mm-hmm. They made movie number 1. They made a couple of documentaries after him. And then he made like 2 new series recently. One in 2017 where Ross Lynch played him.
What?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Do you know what Ross Lynch played in as a kid?
Yes.
Austin and Ally. That dude's a serial killer.
That sounds like, bro, nobody can take him serious. He got so much criticism.
Bro, I need to watch this movie. What's it called?
I think it was My Best Friend is Dahmer. Yeah.
My Best Friend is Dahmer. Cool.
Yeah. That was the 2017 one, and then the most recent one is with Evan Peters. Shit is 10 out of 10. Like, he played him really well. But my point is, I don't really like. How do you think the victims feel, bro?
When you're making movies, just talking about their deaths in such detail.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, they did a decent job in regards to, like, you know, not releasing certain information or not making it too graphic.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can all put 2 and 2 together and, you know, make a 4 out of it. Like,
I mean,
how do you feel about that, bro?
So, there is one similar thing that I am familiar with. Michael Bay made a movie about 9/11, or not 9/11, but Pearl Harbor, and people didn't like it because he made it too cool. And it's not a cool event. It's like, dude, Japan just blew up Pearl Harbor. People are dying. This is a real life thing. Why are you making it so cool and playing guitars over it? You know? So, yeah, like imagine if somebody made a movie called like 9/11 and then guitars and military
Michael
going
Bay
in.
is too cool, bro.
Yeah. So I'm applying that thought process towards all the Jeffrey Dahmer ideas and movies. I'm like, did they make it look cool or did they glorify any part of it? Because if they didn't do that and they kept the serious tone and it was like very sympathetic throughout, then I would say mixed emotions. But if they made it anything else and glorifying in any kind of way, whether it was like, dang, it sucks that these people died, but you know what, their memory lives on and everything's cool now because we caught him, or if they were focused on him, like, dude, it was so wild how he did this, isn't it interesting how he got away with this sort of line? If he did anything like that, then it's like, it's so cool.
It's very informative, bro. It's like they teach you about the man. I feel like the series, I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face to all of them, but it's an informative series. Like, they're actually teaching you how he, like, they're giving you like crazy, not crazy, but very significant moments in his life, and they're taking you from when he was a child. They took you from when he first, like, when he got arrested and when he, like, actually went to jail, like, for the murders. They showed you, like, how sick he was. They were basically just, like, teaching you about who he was. And I feel like, why did you need to teach us that?
Well,
I don't feel like I needed to learn that. Like, it was very interesting, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I don't feel like me or the people who he hurt needed to see that.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I think, you know, now that I spent a few more seconds thinking about it, I don't think it's too serious in the general sense, like, regardless of however they portrayed it. It's not too serious for the victims because it's not up to... The victims have no responsibility to move on, forgive, process, you know, like, that's something that would take their entire lives to just understand the entire weight of it, possibly. I mean, some people get over tragedies super easily. Some people get over tragedies over never, and they just have PTSD for the rest of their lives, you know. So it's not their responsibility to really, you know, accept those movies for whatever they are, whether they're good or bad.
True. And they don't have to watch them either.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
And then for the rest of us, we can try to learn from it. It can shed light on their situation, and it'll be like, oh, if you see these kind of symptoms in another human being, make sure to check on him so that way he gets the proper help he needs and doesn't become a psychotic serial killer. Or, hey, if you see this kind of person walking down on the street, it might be too late. They're probably a serial killer. Watch out. But then, which goes very smoothly into another thought I had about the whole serial killer thing. You know how there are like a bunch of them, and they're like, they look like normal people like you and me. Then they surprise you when they're a serial killer. I feel like, one, I'm really glad that there are so few of those kind of people out there, because it kind of negates the fact that they look just like you and me. And then two, I don't like the fact that they do exist at all, because it means that there's always going to be some level of distrust for literally every person in the world that you meet, because you never know. Like, what if you are the one out of a million who, next thing you know, you're in the back of a black truck and getting your liver carved out without any anesthesia? And, dude, that just sounds awful. And it's so scary to think about.
Does.
But I'm just glad the majority of the world is nothing like that.
That would be a that would be a very fucked up society. Like it's like heavy on that distrust thing. Like I probably wouldn't feel safe coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would be like, yo, bro, like, can you open that door? Like, you leave that door open just in case I have to sprint out of here. I wouldn't say that, but just in case I gotta leave or scream for help or something like that. Like, just imagine if that's the way that we had to live.
Dude.
But then you also kind of like helped me transition into another way of thinking. I just gave you the negative side to it, and you just gave me the positive side to it. So within that entire interaction, we just created like a yin-yang effect. And I like that because that's something that I live by. I live by, well...
recognizing what's good, bad, and neutral.
Yeah, bro. I like something I also believe in, like, heavily. I believe that positivity can't exist without negativity. Negativity can't exist without positivity. So I feel like, you know, that was good, like what you just gave me.
This is such an amazingly cohesive conversation because that's literally what we started with, appreciating all the different emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude,
it just ties back in.
This is a great conversation.
It's golden. Nah, bro, it's always great talks with you, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, bro, that's just what's been going on. Like, for the past couple of nights, I've been watching Dahmer. And, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, the series is good. It's golden. That was just something that I thought about. Like, damn, how may the other people feel about it? Yeah.
I like that. It's a good look into your soul. You're always thinking about others. That's a beautiful thing to find in people.
Thanks, bro.
You know, actually, I have this feeling that everybody is like that to a degree. It just takes getting to know them to realize how much of it they're like. And that's such a beautiful idea, that just about every other human being you meet cares about everybody around them to a degree. Like,
to a degree.
You know, because, dude, if it weren't at the cost of my health to always think about everybody else, I would love to just spend all my time being like, hey, you okay? You okay? Good. Oh, you're not good? And I asked you about your day and you said you weren't having a good day and decided to get honest with me? Cool, let's sit down so I can listen to you and we can talk about your issues and maybe you'll feel a bit better. Like, dude, I would do that all day long for every person I met
too, bro.
if it wasn't at the cost of my emotional health. Because when you take in all that stuff, it starts to drain you and it just brings everybody down, and that's why you have to find professionals and stuff to handle your issues. But it's just a cool thing how we all do care about each other. We just don't have the time to show it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so I always like I was like that like before I came to college, but I spent like a brief period of my life like trying to stray away from that way of thinking and just focusing more on myself, because I got to a point where I was so mentally trained. I just felt like I needed to take care of myself before I took care of anyone else. And then I also noticed that...
Hold on 1 second. One more time. Okay.
So yeah, I also noticed that the energy wasn't being reciprocated. So I had no choice but to make sure that I was okay. So when I got here, bro, and I started going through like a series of things, it's so crazy. Like, I was going through a lot of hard things, and it was kind of hard adjusting to the collegiate life because I had a lot of hard things going on back home. So when I got here, bro, one thing I could not shut up about was how much I loved my life here and how much I loved my team, like the track team. It's about, I can't tell you how many of us, it's about like 8 guys. We're the freshman 200 meter and 400 meter group. And it's so crazy to me how we all came together so quickly, and it's like it's like we're two molecule, like not two, but it's like we're molecules that are binded together so tight, and it's crazy how much like they care and how much, you know, they lift you up and make you feel better. Like, it really goes to show that people do actually give a fuck. Like, I just met these guys like a month ago. I don't know these guys from like a can of paint, but I just met them, and
you're already connecting.
Yeah, bro. Like, and they're already like it already feels like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, you know, I actually had the exact opposite effect when I came here. Yes, for literally, I think you were kind of the first person that I felt like maybe I have a real connection going on here, and it was like everybody seemed really superficial, kind of surface level, or maybe fake, or not aligned with the same goals I have, even if they are real people and, you know, they're genuine, but they're just not the same as me. So it was like, wow, I do not connect with anybody here. Maybe I made the wrong decision. I feel so alone and stuff. And for me, it was just trying to make these mental connections, pick apart people's brains until I could actually get deep and make that connection.
I feel like you are a lot more spiritual than others, because I feel like for you, that whole friendship process is different. Mm-hmm. You don't just pick like random people. You pick people who you genuinely connect with. Like, you genuinely go out of your way to establish or to see if you can establish a connection with people, and that's not something that you find often. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not somebody who just sits here and says, well, oh my god, you know, they're mad cliquish over there, so I'm gonna just go chill with them because, you know, they look fly and they're blasting this music and I might have heard this song once or twice, so let me go over there. Like, you're not one of those.
Yeah. And for the record, I think there are benefits and cons to both types of people. Like, I know the main reason I do it is because I have learned that I don't need everybody in my life, and at the same time, if I don't connect with somebody, then I could possibly just be another burden for them to think about and feel self-conscious about when they don't text me. Mm-hmm. So I try not to get too involved with people who don't actually care, because I don't want to be their burden. And then for the other aspect, the people who just kind of click and just go wherever they go is great for building up a huge network and having that support system to rely on. And I'm assuming that it means it's easier for you to open up to people, and, you know, that's great for emotional support, so that way you're not always alone. If you're sad or something, you probably have somebody who experienced it and you're like, you know what, yeah, we can talk about this for 15 minutes. I'm not gonna dwell on it because we got parties to go to, but you know, like, you can experience it with other people.
I feel like, in a way, I'm very open to both, like, both ways of thinking, mm-hmm. because I feel like in certain respects I fit into both categories. Like, if I want to, I can go mess with that person over there who's blasting music and being a dumbass, or I can go fuck with somebody who's more introverted. But
I don't like the term dumbass.
You like the term dumbass?
I feel like it frames the people who just kind of connect with everybody as, like, lesser. You know? Because dumbass is such a negative term.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Dumbass is not the word. What I'm thinking about, like, I have an actual image of somebody in my head because it's something that I've seen recently.
Okay.
So, alright, so let me rephrase that. I'm going to say people who do things that others may not agree with. Is that a bit better?
I'll just say yes because I understand you.
Yeah.
The viewers may not, but you know what? It's not all for you guys all the time. Sometimes we just connect and we just
understands, bro.
Okay.
You know?
So go ahead and explain.
So yeah, it's like I could get down with both people, but I don't. I have, like, you know, I pick and I choose, but if we're being honest with you, like, internally, I feel like I'm that person who likes a small group or just likes that one person, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I can vibe with that big group, just because you know I have that mindset of adapting to my environment. But if we're really talking about it, like I really prefer introverted individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or at least individuals who think like myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Alright. So we talked about a lot. I want to bring it back to the very first idea of the heart of the world, what makes you tick and stuff. So I know we stopped like 4 times, and each segment is like 15 to 60 minutes long, which means we're reaching into the hour time mark, probably a little bit over by now. So how about you tell me a little bit about your vision for the world, your community, yourself, and what's really important to you in all times of life?
Okay, that makes like talking about this a bit easier. So I'm gonna start with like what's most important to me.
Yep.
What's most important to me right now is I'd have to say family.
Word.
Yeah, family is most important. Then you know it's my friends and the people who I consider family. Definitely got to throw them in there. Track and field, school, and being internally healthy. I want to be internally healthy. I want to go back to that point where I'm at peace. And I feel like after yesterday I made I made another breakthrough. I learned something, and I just realized like, hey man, you kind of got to like bring it back in. You have to like resettle the wave inside of you. Like you have a whole ocean, the ocean is running rampant, but you need to settle it. You need to calm the waves. Just let it be a stable river. So internal peace, if we're talking, but that's like a personal view. That's what's important to me personally. If we're talking about like a world view, it's funny, I was about to sound very cliche. I was gonna say equality.
Equality. Hey man, sometimes you know what they say about classics. They're cliche, but they work. That's why they're classics.
True.
Equality is a good one.
With the way that I think, bro, I'm very open-minded. I want to sit here and listen to anybody. Like, you could be talking about something that the world may not agree with, and I still want to listen to you and, you know, figure out why is it that you think that way.
Yeah. It goes back to the liberal versus conservative. We don't need to fear each other.
Exactly. I feel like, personally, the hardest way to put it is that I want everybody to get along, and I want everybody to respect each other. But it's like, that's unrealistic. It's very unrealistic. So if I were to change that and make it more realistic, I just want people to
at least respect each other.
Yeah, like at least, bro. That's the bare minimum. Like if I sit here and I say like, oh, I don't like, alright, so if I'm on the street, right, and that's a really bad analogy. Alright, so if I'm just sitting here and I'm having a conversation with one person, bro, so one person, and I sit here and I say something like, well, hey, I don't like donuts. I don't need the whole bakery community coming after my ass talking like I don't
What
need
you say
that.
about donuts, bro?
Word, bro.
Pull up then.
I don't need it.
Have a croissant.
I feel like it should not be like that. I feel like, all right, well, you know, I don't like donuts. Ask me why I don't like donuts, or respect my opinion and just go about your day. You really don't have to sit here and interact with me, but just respect my opinion.
Tight.
And leave it at that. Because as long as I'm not forcing that same ideology that I have down your throat, we should be cool. We should be able to be friends after that, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's important to know, or just an important idea that you probably are familiar with, but just to put it out there and be clear.
What?
You can disagree and respect each other and admire how different we are as people, but there's
I
still no pressure to be like super close after that, because there's a reason you disagree. You know, it's because you're not the same people, you're not in the same clique. which means you might not make very good friends. And respecting that idea in itself is vital in peace. Yep. I feel like everybody wants to be friends, and when they fail at it, they get upset. But it's really okay in the long run.
I agree.
Yeah. But anyways,
what I meant by like friends,
mm-hmm.
I meant not necessarily friends. Just be cool. Just don't y'all don't have to talk to each other. But don't sit here and make like death threats or come back later trying to kill me because I said that I don't like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I feel like from a world perspective. It's so crazy because it's so many ideas wrapped up into one. I want to see a lot of change, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of change. I feel like the world is in a constant state of changing. We are not going to change that because the world is changing by itself. That's an evolutionary thing. But humans are naturally designed to evolve and just change. One day I feel like, well, I like rice, and next thing you know, shit, I don't like rice no more. Like, we're just constantly changing. I feel like people need to be more open-minded to that concept. Not everything has to or is going to stay the same. Mm-hmm. Be open-minded to the change. If, like for instance, the LGBTQ community, how I feel about it is I feel like you shouldn't really try and like if people are making certain decisions with their lives, let them.
Yeah.
Let them.
You know what's crazy though?
What?
There was a time in my life where I was just going with the crowd,
mm-hmm.
and I was totally dissing them.
Really?
I did not like them. I did not want to think about it. I was like, ew, being like homosexual, ew. And now I'm out here being like, yes, I'm at the forefront of this. Let's go in now. Well, not at the forefront. I don't want to seem like, I'm leading the pride parade. I'm not that guy. But I'm like, yeah, you guys do you. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, I'm an ally. I got my own identity.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I stand with y'all, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if we're just talking about like how I feel, like what's important to me, like in the world, it's definitely that.
I think you did a pretty good analysis of those things in your vision and stuff.
Thank you.
So,
I feel like we're missing one more thing, or two. You give me like four things.
We're probably missing a million things.
Probably, but I mean, we're gonna be alive for a while.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot. I feel like I just recentered myself. I really hope I'm alive for a long while now, because it's like, dang, this world's cool.
Yeah,
I got
bro.
myself going. I got things going. I just started this podcast. I don't want to die immediately after starting it. Haven't even released the first episode yet. But anyways, I think I'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Yep. Because we got like 45 seconds before the thing wants to cut out, and we got to start a new recording. Yeah. So, thank you, Malachi, for coming on to the show, The Heart of the World. I'm your host, Kevin McLean. That's our guest right there. And it's amazing having you here. You have such a beautiful mind. I'm so glad to just be in your presence.
Listen, I'm happy to be here in your space on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this. This is going to get popular. I might start a whole organization around it on campus, and then we're going to get like a studio and stuff. And it's
that would
tight.
be so hard, bro.
Bro, I should partner with the radio station. There's a literal student radio station. I'm going to go be on there. I'm going to show them my thing. And it's going to be tight.
Do it, bro.
Yeah.
And if you want, what if we were to record stuff?
Like more stuff?
Yeah, I'm talking about some rhythmic stuff.
Oh, yeah. We'll have more situations and sessions and stuff.
Okay.
But let's really wrap it up now and just say goodbye. Handshake. You know what it do. You know what it do. All right. Peace out, people. Love yourself. Love the world, man.